I was incarcerated here at the Women's Jail in 1976 for 4 months in terms of the Internal Security Act, which allowed for detention without trial indefinitely. I was pregnant at the time, and my mother had been incarcerated 2 months before me. So the first week or so was very hard for her and I, with me being here, being pregnant, because my first pregnancy had been difficult, so she was really actually very worried about me. The other women that were here were Deborah Machoba, Lolo Tabani, Winnie Mandela, Fatima Mir, Jeannie No, Spongile Kubeke. There were about 13 of us here, plus another lady who had been sentenced. Her name was Edith Mbalo. She was sentenced, I'm not sure in terms of what act, but I think she got a 6-year jail sentence for distributing pamphlets and using the boss's photocopy machine. Can you just stop for a minute? Sorry. You said you're going to ask me questions. Well, you know, they don't really tell you what it is what you had done. But the security policeman that brought me here asked me 2 questions. He said to me, "Why did you refuse to give evidence?" And the second question was, that conference that you held, how could you have invited those people to that conference? Because now you are here and they are there. Now what had happened is, earlier in the year, I had refused to give evidence in the trial of the Newsas boys, because I'd been working at the Wits SRC for a very long time, and I had refused to give evidence against them. And I got away with it on a technicality. The second one was, we had arranged a conference, my friend Nimrod Nkele and I, of expats and some people that were here, people like Mampile Rampile, Jake Schervo, Herbert Vilakazi, those kind of people. We had a very successful conference, in fact. The conference was to be held here in Johannesburg, and they banned it in Johannesburg. Roodepoort, fortunately, wasn't part of Johannesburg, so we could go to, what was this place called now? Anyway, we took it to Roodepoort, and we had a very, very successful conference there. So those were like the 2 things that I think. Also, when I was taken from work, there were about 5 security policemen, all armed. The Captain Conrad came into the room where I was held, and his words were, "Yeah, Cecile Palmer, Black Power. You've had your day, now I'll have mine. You say you'll kill 2 people before you go. Well, I'm telling you, I'll kill 2,000 of you before I go. And then I'll go and talk to St. Peter at the pearly gates." So that sort of gave me the idea of why I was here. You know, one had done things on and off without knowing exactly who was around you. For instance, at Wits, there was Craig Williamson, there was Derek Bruner, there was Jimmy Jodiades. They were all spies. So they really knew me quite well. It's actually the way, shall I say, the way we took over the prison. You see, there was this peculiar thing that if you were a prisoner of the, or a detainee rather, of the special branch, the staff of the jail would not really touch you. You know, they would just come and check how you are and so on, because you were not their prisoner. And they really didn't want to have anything to do with us. So in the first instance, we were all locked up in single cells and so on. But we also knew that the Afrikaners were very religious people. And we played on that. And we said, we'd like to worship together. Do you think it'll be all right if we could say prayers together sometime? And they agreed. And of course our prayers turned into political education sessions. So we were together at least twice a week or so, together, because there were 2 yards and the 1 yard would come over to us and we would all be together. So those were quite poignant things that happened. Also, we forced them to give the ordinary prisoners panties. Prisoners that were in this jail were stripped naked after their sentence, left with no panties. And we fought and threatened. And very soon they did get panties. I like the idea because I think it's very important for our history. My only disappointment is that a lot of the women's jail has been broken down. You know, like there were cells where the Commission of Gender Equality stands now, and those cells were broken down. Yes, we are proud of the Commission, that it's there, but you know, we just felt it's not the same. For instance, if you go to Robben Island, it's perfectly preserved. And I can't say the same about the women's jail. We are working together now to try and get it all sorted, but it will happen.